Over the past few days, the stars have aligned beautifully for me because I was recently watching Lucia's trial, and I've also been going through the Tales of Xadia to refresh my mind on a few things when I came across the character of Lamis. Now, the Dragon Prince has a lot of characters, especially with the introduction of the Tales of Xadia. There are so many characters. And it's hard to know if any of them will have screen time, especially because there are only 2 seasons left, and the pacing of the story, it does kind of leave some things to be desired. But we're not here to talk about the pacing, okay? I'm just here to make observations. And as I mentioned, I was recently watching Lucia's trial, and when Janai sentences her, she says, "Under the guidance of our priests, you will build a shrine here, one where soul candles may burn without a threat to the camp." So, what I'm getting at here is that if we get introduced to a new Sunfire Priest, it will be Lamis. What we learn about them is that she's hoping to one day wield the sacred staff of the city and watch over the Sunforge, which I hate to break it to her, but it's probably not going to happen in her generation. But maybe they know that to a certain extent because the small synopsis also says that until that day, they act as an intermediary between Lux Aurean leadership and the people who might help build a new city. Although, it's also possible that they know more than I do because they also know that scattered throughout Sadia, there are a few powerful artifacts imbued with sun magic, and perhaps one of them may be able to help generate enough power for Sunfire elves to establish a new home. And I feel like this is actually a nod to the Sun Seed, but maybe there's another artifact that can be used more immediately since the Sun Seed still has a long way to go. But the important part that I want to highlight here is that she is now the intermediary between Lux Aurean leadership and the people who might help build a new city, which I think is a clear nod to her working with Lucia. And when I went to the next page, I was so pleased to see her fully illustrated because I actually missed that the first time I read it because I was obviously looking at Kareem, but now I'm also realizing they are next to Kareem. And now I have to wonder, where do their loyalties lie? I guess it's up for debate, but I'm hoping that she will remain loyal to Janai because Kareem doesn't really seem to have a plan to rebuild. I feel like he's only focused on getting the crown and asserting himself over the humans, and he has made no mention of what he pictures for a new city, only that they now live in tents after the fall of Lux Aurea, which was one of the greatest and oldest civilizations in Sadia. So he's really clinging to the past there. And yeah, I don't know. He's not really looking to either the future or the big picture in general, but I'm rooting for them to remain with Janai because I do have this theory that Callum will be cleansed of dark magic, and that requires the Sun Primal. So I'm hoping that it will be Lamis who will step up as Janai's High Priest to perform this ritual of purification. But that's it, that's all. Let me know what you think in the wicked depths below. Who do you think that she's likely to be loyal to based on what we know about them? Or do you think that we'll even see Lamis in the series proper? I'd love to hear your thoughts. I know it was a short video, but I was inspired by the alignment of stars, and of course, because it is around the time of the summer solstice, and what better way to celebrate than to talk about the Sunfire Elves. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, hit the pretty like button, subscribe if you want to join this beautiful moon nexus, and hit the bell if you want to be notified whenever the stars align. But until then, Tenebras post Lux.